Imagine two men standing in the rain. The first man is holding a massive bucket, but the bucket has 100 tiny holes in the bottom. The rain pours in. He is making a lot of money, but it pours out just as fast. He is constantly running, constantly stressed, trying to catch more rain to keep the bucket full. By the end of the storm, he is exhausted and his bucket is empty. The second man is holding a small cup, but his cup is solid steel, no holes. The rain is just a drizzle for him. He has a low salary, but he catches every single drop. Once the cup is full, he pours it into a barrel, then another. At the end of the storm, the man with the huge bucket is begging for water, while the man with the small cup is wealthy. This is the financial reality of the modern world. We are obsessed with the size of the bucket, our income. We think the solution to our stress is simply to make more money. But making more money when you have bad habits is like pouring water into a leaking bucket. You don't get richer, you just speed up the flow of waste. In Japan, wealth isn't performed, it's hidden. There is a word for it, Sutsumashi. It means being modestly reserved, and it carries deep social respect. While Western culture celebrates the big bucket, Japanese culture celebrates the solid cup. Today, we're going to look at the 120-year-old operating system that allows households to save up to 35% of their income by plugging the holes once and for all. Part 1. The Trap of Invisible Money. Why are we so bad with money? It's because money has become invisible. You tap a card, you click Buy Now on Amazon, or you use Apple Pay. You never actually see the money leave your hand, so you never feel the loss. Corporations spend billions of dollars to remove the friction from buying. They want you to spend without thinking. But human biology has a built-in defense mechanism. When you pay with physical cash, your brain registers a sensation called the pain of paying. It's a genuine psychological sting. Modern technology is designed to numb that sting. You don't feel the damage until the end of the month when you see the statement, but by then, the patient is already dead. This is why a staggering number of people live without any budget at all. Their brains are effectively asleep at the checkout counter. The Japanese habit of Kakeibo is the act of deliberately reintroducing cognitive friction. It is not an app that automates your data. It is a physical notebook and a pen. When you have to manually write down, food delivery, $42, want, your hand is telling your brain something a screen never could. You are forced to process the purchase twice, once when you make it, and once when you record it. This simple act of writing can reduce unnecessary spending by up to 35% because it wakes your brain up. Part 2. The Kakeibo Ritual. Invented in 1904 by Hani Motoko, Japan's first female journalist, Kakeibo was designed to give people financial autonomy. It relies on 4 fundamental questions you must ask at the start of every month. 1. How much money is coming in? 2. How much do I need for fixed expenses? 3. How much would I like to save? And 4. How much do I have left to spend? Most people do this backward. They spend first and hope to save what's left. The Japanese use a habit called choken, which means saving first. The equation is simple. Income minus savings equals spending money. You pay your future self before you pay the grocery store or the landlord. When you move your savings to a separate account the morning after payday, you create artificial scarcity. Your brain adapts to the remaining amount. If you move your savings immediately, your spending reality shrinks. Because the option to spend that money no longer exists, your brain stops looking for ways to waste it. Part 3. The 4 Buckets of Judgment. Kakeibo simplifies spending into 4 categories. This simplicity is intentional. It forces you to make a judgment call that no algorithm can make for you. First, survival. These are needs like rent, food, and utilities. Second, optional. These are wants like dining out or shopping. Third, culture. This includes books, museums, or courses. Kakeibo views these as investments in your soul. And fourth, extra. These are unexpected expenses like a flat tire. Every night, you take 3 minutes to record your receipts. When you sort a purchase, you have to be honest. Was that store run a need? Or did you walk in for paper towels and walk out with $70 of items that caught your eye? That moment of categorization creates a filter. Soon, you'll find yourself pausing before a purchase asking, "Do I really want to have to write this down tonight?" If the answer is no, you put the item back. Part 4. The 30-day delay. To master impulse control, the Japanese use a cooling off period. If you see a want that isn't a need, you don't buy it. You write it in a wish list section of your notebook and wait 30 days. 90% of the time, the dopamine hit fades, and after a month, you'll realize you didn't actually want the item. You were just bored, sad, or hungry. This kills the dopamine shopping loop and ensures that when you do buy something, it's with intention, not impulse. You can even use the envelope method. Withdraw your monthly fun budget in cash and put it in an envelope. When the envelope is empty, the fun is over. You cannot cheat physics. An empty envelope cannot buy a beer. This teaches your brain to pace itself and respect the physical limits of your resources. Part 5. Mottainai and wabi-sabi. There is a concept called Mottainai, which is the deep feeling of regret when something useful is wasted. Statistics show that average households waste roughly 30% of the food they buy. That's over $2,000 a year thrown directly in the trash. Practicing Mottainai means meal planning around what you already have instead of what sounds good. It means repairing a shirt instead of replacing it. It means finding a second purpose for items before discarding them. This connects to wabi-sabi, the appreciation of things that are imperfect or old. In the West, we are trained to be dissatisfied with anything that isn't brand new. A scratch on a phone or a scuff on a shoe is seen as a reason to buy a new one. The consumer economy depends on this dissatisfaction. Wabi-sabi invites you to find beauty in the story an object tells. A wooden table with scratches from family dinners isn't damaged, it's lived in. If wabi-sabi helps you keep your car, your phone, and your furniture for just 2 years longer, you redirect thousands of dollars toward your freedom. Part 6. The 80% Rule and Kaizen. Harahachibu means eat until you are 80% full. In finance, it means living on 80% of your income. If you earn $60,000 and spend it all, you are saving nothing. If you follow Harahachibu and live on $48,000, you save $12,000 a year. Over 30 years, that 20-point gap is the difference between retiring with roughly $300,000 or $1.5 million. That 20% isn't empty space, it is margin. Margin is where financial resilience lives. It turns an emergency from a catastrophe into a mere inconvenience. To get there, use Kaizen, or continuous small improvement. Don't try to slash your budget by 50% overnight. Your brain's fear center will perceive a massive change as a threat and force you to quit. Instead, improve by 1%. Reduce your dining out slightly this month. Increase your savings by 1% next month. These changes are so small they fly under the radar of your brain's resistance, but they compound into a completely different life within a single year. Part 7. Shinrin-yoku and free living. In the West, leisure is often synonymous with spending. We think fun requires a transaction, a movie ticket, a dinner out, or a shopping trip. The Japanese practice of Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, represents a different model: free living. It is the deliberate choice to build your social life around activities that cost nothing: walking in nature, cooking with friends at home, or visiting a library. When you stop equating fun with consumption and start equating it with presence, your entertainment spending drops significantly without reducing your quality of life. In fact, your weekends often become more restorative because they are no longer tied to the stress of spending. The gap. Finally, you need to know why you are doing this. This is your ikigai, your reason for being. When you identify what your money is for, whether it's being present for your family or buying your future freedom, spending decisions become easy. You don't need willpower to stop impulse buying, you just need purpose. Wealth is not about how much you earn, it's about the gap. It is the distance between what you make and what you spend. Stickman A earns $200,000 and spends $200,000. He has zero wealth. He is on a treadmill, and if he stops running, he falls. Stickman B earns $50,000 and spends $30,000. He is actually richer because he is buying his time. Every dollar you save is a tiny employee working to buy you a day where you don't have to work. The path to riches doesn't start with a lottery ticket. It starts with a notebook, a pen, and the quiet discipline to pay attention to where your life energy is going. The 7-Day Challenge. For the next week, don't check your app. Physically write down every cent you spend. At the end of the week, circle the wants in red. You will be shocked at how much money you are setting on fire. Awareness is the first step to change. I master my money. It does not master me.